listening to the Art of Homeschooling podcast, where we help parents cultivate creativity and connection at home. I'm your host, Jean Miller, and here on this podcast, you'll find stories and inspiration to bring you the confidence you need to make homeschooling work for your family. Let's begin. If a friend or a neighbor were to ask you, why are you homeschooling? Would you be able to answer that question? And have you ever written this down? I'm here to tell you that writing your family vision can really help guide you through your days, your months, and even your years on this homeschooling journey. Hey there, and welcome to episode 4 of the Art of Homeschooling podcast. In this episode, I'm going to share with you 3 questions you can ask yourself to create a concise and helpful vision statement for your family. I'll even share with you the one I wrote that my husband and I wrote together back in 1996. So let's get to it. So at this point, you might be wondering, Jean, do I really need a vision statement? And I just want to say to you that this activity is actually really rewarding and fun to do. It's a great thing to do with your partner, your husband or wife, or even a homeschooling friend. Writing down the vision that you have for your homeschool, for your family, is a really powerful activity that can help you focus, right, and provide guidance as you make day-to-day decisions in your homeschool, and give you really a sense of conviction for the work that you're doing. Here's how our family vision statement came about. Back in 1996, it was the summer before our first official year of homeschooling, and our oldest was going into first grade. So our boys, we just had 2 boys at the time. Our daughter wasn't born yet, and I think they were 5 and 6 years old. And okay, so just to back up for a second, I remember when I was in grad school, so even before marriage, before kids, I was in grad school, and I had this sense as I was studying education, right? I have a degree in education. I had this big aha that teaching and learning are really way bigger than mainstream education defines them as. And I will say that my 3 kids taught me even more about this idea, but that was when the seed of the idea was really planted. So then I get married, I have 2 kids in the summer, right as our oldest was starting first grade. I signed up for a workshop at our local public library. I think it was actually called Homeschooling 101, and it was taught by a homeschooling mom named Barb. And Barb started us off in this workshop with a writing exercise where we asked ourselves questions I'm going to share with you in a minute, and we jotted down our answers. And all the questions were related to why have you chosen to homeschool? So I'm going to share those questions with you in just a minute, but I want to say that even though I didn't finish writing the vision statement at that workshop, I took my scribbled notes and my ideas, I brought them home, and that weekend, my husband Brian and I sat down together to write up a 1-page vision statement for our family. And from that day on, it never changed. It stayed the same all the way through the 20 years or 20 plus years of homeschooling. I kept that document in my planning binder and reread it often. It would be at the beginning of my binder every year when I would set it up. And it still inspires me to this day. So I wanted to share it with you. If you're interested in seeing it, you can find a copy of the Miller Family Homeschool Vision in the show notes for this episode. at artofhomeschooling.com, episode 4. There's even a clear explanation of why we chose the Waldorf-Inspired approach for our homeschool. But no matter what approach you use or choose, I think just having an example of a vision statement, it might be really inspiring to help you create your own. So today I'm here to encourage you to do just that. Write your family vision statement. And let me start by saying it doesn't take that long, really. It doesn't take as long as you might think it would. Once Brian and I sat down to do this together, we had a wonderfully connecting conversation about our family, our children, our decision to homeschool. And the ideas really just came pouring out. It was a really great experience to talk it through, to write it down, and have a shared vision. This vision statement probably won't change much through the years. It's like it becomes the foundation of your family and homeschool journey. You can review it every few years. You could give it an update if you want, but it also might just stay exactly the same like mine did. And this vision statement can become a great reference tool. So when you go to for really a variety of things, but when you go to choose your style of homeschooling, when you want to make decisions about curriculum that you want to buy, and even when you want to choose different activities, like what activities to sign up for your kids, all kinds of decisions can be made by checking those decisions against this vision that you've created. So before we get to some guiding questions, I want to just say a few things about values. When we start any conversation, decision-making, really living our lives, when we start with our values, we add real depth, right, to our lives, our work, our homeschools. And starting with values helps us to really do less better, right? To be truly authentic and to feel more grounded. And those are all great things when we're homeschooling, because there will be days, right, that don't go as well as planned. And there will be times when you've purchased a curriculum and it's not working, or you even question your decision. But to have a sense of why you are doing this that's very deeply rooted in your values can help you so much, can give you strength and courage and confidence on this journey, on this homeschooling journey. Okay, so here are the 3 questions that you can ask yourself. One is sort of the big picture question. Why did we decide to homeschool? 2 is this idea of starting with the end in mind. So the question is, what do we hope for at the end of our homeschooling journey for our kids? And the 3rd one is, how will we get there, right? So that's the sense of it. The question you can ask is, what does this look like day to day? So why did we decide to homeschool? What do we hope for at the end of this journey? And what does it look like day to day? This can really help you stay focused, right? And actually stay focused on what matters most to you as a parent, as a homeschooling parent. And it will help you say yes to what's most important and no to what isn't, because there are so many possibilities these days, so many ideas, so many approaches, so many resources, and that can actually become distracting. So this vision statement can help you stay focused on what's most important to you, and it will be there to remind you of your intentions and your values when the going gets tough. It can also help you celebrate when you stay the course and stay true to those values. So let's look at each of these suggested questions that I just mentioned. Let's look at them one at a time because I have a series of additional questions that might really help. My suggestion is that you sit down either by yourself, carve out some time to sit quietly, or with your partner is even better, right? Have a conversation, get out some paper to begin drafting the vision of your homeschool. So here's the first category of questions. Why did we decide to homeschool is the umbrella question, and here's some additional ones that might help you get at that. You might ask yourselves, what are our shared values? What kind of family do we want? What guiding principles do we find ourselves living our lives by? And you could focus on educational principles here. What do we want for our children in terms of their learning, and how does homeschooling help us get there? Okay, that's the first umbrella. The second umbrella is, what do we hope for at the end of this journey? So imagine each of your child's graduation day, right? They are graduating from high school or whenever it is that they're ready to leave home. And you can ask yourself, what do we want them to know? What skills do we hope they've learned? And what kind of relationship do we want to have with them? Third umbrella is, what does this look like day to day? So how do we go about our days, right? How do we want our days to go? What do we want our child's education to look like each day? What type of learning works best for us and for our children? And where is this learning going to occur? That can help you answer the question of what it looks like. So those are the three categories, really, of questions. And as you begin to answer these, think about writing just a short descriptive paragraph on your vision to start you off, and then including key values or reasons for homeschooling as bullet points. And then you can choose to go into further detail on each of those bullet points if you want. And for our Miller family homeschool vision, we ended then with a concluding paragraph, and I also added a quote that inspires us. So here are just a few highlights of our family vision statement, which as I mentioned, you can find at the show notes, on the show notes page for this episode. And it's simply titled, Why Are We Homeschooling? Here's the opening paragraph. This is a quote from the opening paragraph. First of all, a better term might be family-based learning or life schooling rather than homeschooling. We believe that we are all learners, young and old, and that learning happens everywhere, not just in a classroom. And then I go on to list 6 different specific categories, right, or key values that we hold. And here they are: academic excellence, positive socialization by adults rather than peers, time to explore, create, etc., spirituality, togetherness as a family, and freedom and flexibility. Those are the 6 areas: academic excellence, positive socialization, time, spirituality, togetherness, freedom and flexibility. We then go into, include a short paragraph for each of those bullet points, right? And conclude with a list of what we consider our jobs to be as the homeschooling parents. And then here's the final, concluding paragraph. I'm quoting again from our Miller family homeschool value vision statement. The final paragraph reads, our goal is to create an environment that is right for our children. We believe that children need years of hands-on dabbling to master academic subjects and themselves, even if this may look random to the outside world. It's funny to go back and read this. So I love looking back at this vision statement because of its staying power, really. The meaning of the vision changed, right? The meaning of the vision to us as parents changed as our children grew, but the words held strong and really helped guide us on our homeschooling journey with all three of our children through the grades, through middle school, through high school. And I remember when our youngest graduated, so we were really finishing up our homeschooling journey. I remember finding this vision statement because I was reviewing all of her high school records, and the vision statement was in my planning binder, and reading it and thinking, oh my gosh, I can't believe we wrote that in 1996 and these values still hold true and have come true. That was a beautiful moment. This homeschooling vision even guided us when it came time to decide whether to continue homeschooling at different points along the way or choose school as an option. So my husband and I felt that by about the age of 13 or 14, our children should be a part of that decision, right, about school. So our oldest chose to go to school in 8th grade. He went to a small private school in 8th grade and then on to the large local public high school in 9th grade. And then each of our other two children chose to homeschool all the way through high school. So this homeschool vision statement really helped us navigate that process as well. I will say that through all of our years of homeschooling, including through these decisions, right, our values of academic excellence, positive socialization, time to learn, honoring our spirituality, family togetherness, freedom, flexibility, they held strong all the way through the 20 plus years of homeschooling. And I'm so grateful that Brian and I took the time to talk with each other about those values and to write them down at the beginning of our homeschooling journey. They became like a beacon of light to guide us through the days and the years in a really sweet and nurturing way. So now I encourage you to choose some time to sit down with your partner or a homeschooling friend and write up your homeschool vision. Schedule it on your calendar, right? Find a time that will work and just sit down and do it. Start with your values and remember the 3 questions that can guide you. Why did we decide to homeschool? What do we hope for at the end of this journey? And what does that look like day to day? I honestly think you'll find that this is a really connecting exercise that feels good to do together and will serve you well through the years. Remember, if you want to have a look at the Miller family homeschool vision that we wrote years ago, you can check that out at the show notes for this episode. Go to artofhomeschooling.com/episode 4. If you want more guidance on your homeschooling journey and you love hands-on learning for your children, check out the membership community, Homeschool with Waldorf. In this monthly membership, you get the training, coaching, and support you need to sustain homeschooling in keeping with your values. It also helps you find ways to make homeschooling work for you. We define Waldorf-Inspired very loosely. You don't have to be pure Waldorf to be a part of this. And you can join month to month. That's how the membership works. You can get an annual membership or a month-to-month membership. You can cancel anytime if it's no longer working for you. So just come check it out and join a wonderful community of homeschooling families. You can find all the details at artofhomeschooling.com/homeschool with Waldorf. Thanks so much for joining me today, and I hope you enjoy creating your family homeschool vision. That's all for today, my friend. But here's what I want you to remember. Rather than perfection, let's focus on connection. Thanks so much for listening, and I'll see you on the next episode of the Art of Homeschooling podcast.